This is Professor Puente, and of course, with your lesson today on objections for the principles of selling class. And if we could just talk a little bit about the class to a few of you that are just visiting us and watching our lesson. This is a class of 10 students, an online class from both the Kingwood and Montgomery campuses at Lone Star College. We do video lectures here, but not only that, but we interact very well through different web apps. And we discuss practical examples as much as we can, just because it's the nature of the business. For this lesson, we'll listen to all the videos, not just mine, but the videos that some of you have already put together. Probably one of the most important lessons in the whole semester, because objections is the foundation of selling. Remember to use common sense, of course, when you go through these objections, and listen, and always listen, right? I'll tell you, among you 10, we chose 3. Thank you so much for volunteering your time. And we definitely went together and set up a lesson for all you guys. First of all, Sonia, which I will allow herself to just introduce where she's from and such, and where she works. Christine actually works at the Woodlands Church as an intern there. Very competitive church. I think that they're doing a wonderful job competing with all the other churches. And they're all, of course, very faith-based, very well-organized businesses. So I will tell you, I'm very impressed about that. And Rebecca, who happens to be an RN from the Woodlands Hospital, and she, of course, took this class to learn a little more selling techniques. So thank you, Rebecca. Business online education is growing, getting stronger, and we're trying to do a little bit different things just so we can all get practical knowledge, right? So overall, before we start, I do want to tell you that a lot of people say online education and business do not mix. A lot has to do with correspondence mediums, meaning that a lot of professors will put an assignment and just throw it out there and wait to get it back. A lot of people say it's because of the lack of interaction, the lack of experience, and because it's just too much theory and not practical knowledge, right? And just overall, because some people believe business cannot be taught. So in this class, hopefully we can compete with that notion and let this lesson begin so we can show the world how we study here in our class. The bridging, first of all, what I want to do is tell you a story about objections. I used to have a broker that used to kind of give me tough clients just to kind of shape me and make me better. And, me, myself, as a broker now, I see objections and I'm pretty good at them. But one of my first objections that I saw was from a Vietnamese client who wanted to buy a home, but was telling me she wanted the first 4 numbers of the home to change. And I was like, well, the first 4 numbers, I didn't know exactly what he was saying. But I've come to find out that he was talking about the address. The first 4 letters of the unit, he wanted to change it to add up to 9 because he said 9 is the best number. And that was one of my objections that I couldn't overcome. And my broker did a good job to send it to me. Let's ask a few to some of your classmates.
My children's story is about when I was trying to buy a house, and the realtor took me around to see houses. And the first house that I saw, I got so excited that I went ahead and paid some deposit for the house. Um, Same day, got home, just maybe an hour later, not too long afterwards, I thought about it and I did not like that house at all. Then I called the company back and they were able to give me back my deposit. Um, a couple of years later, I made the same mistake. A realtor came, took me around to see the house. I gave a check and then went home, thought about it, did not like the location, did not like the house. This time I lost the money. That was a silly objection. I should have thought before I got into that agreement.
So thank you, Rebecca. And that was her objection story. Now let's go to Christine.
So I used to work in retail. It was a very short-lived experience, but I worked at a Bath and Body Works. And working at Bath and Body Works is like you come in and you pick out your scent, your perfume, or whatever, and you leave pretty much. And so, but in our first room, we always had to try to push new products and sell new products. Well, when it comes to picking out like your perfume, most people just know what they want, they get in and they get out. So pushing new things was always a little bit harder. Well, I was in there and I was trying to sell this like candle or something to this lady. And she came in and I was like, "Oh, hi, my name's Christine. Like, can I help you?" And she was like, "No, I already know what I want. Like, I'm fine." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, we have these new candles over here. So, like, if you want to like test them out, like, just let me know." And she was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And she looks around for a little while and then she comes back and she looks at the name of this candle and I wish I could remember what it was, but I don't remember. And she goes on this like 5-minute rant about how offensive the name of this candle is. And I promise you, it was probably something like Farmer's Apple Stand or something. It was so innocent. But she goes on this complete rant about how offensive it is and blah blah blah. And so all I did was we wear mics and I just turned my mic on and I let my manager listen to it. And so she came out and we both started talking with her about, "Ma'am, we're not in charge of the names that come on, and like we're sorry that it has offended you. Like, what can we do to help you? Like, how can we help you move past this?" And we ended up talking with her and kind of talking through the situation with her and really somehow got to the point of like she needs not that specific candle but some of these candles that were on sale because they were on sale and it was a great deal. And
So thank you, Christine. Just to move on. So now I have Rebecca kind of talking about the objectives for this lesson.
After completing this chapter, you should be able to explain why it is important to anticipate and overcome buyer concerns and resistance, understand why prospects raise objections, describe the 5 major types of sales resistance, explain why the LAARC method can be used to overcome buyer resistance, describe the recommended approaches for responding to buyer objections, and finally, list and explain the earning commitment techniques that secure commitment and closing.
Also, class, you can get that from the objectives list on the second page of the lesson. Okay, so overall, we made a lecture. Me and Sonia together, tandemly, we sat and went through the chapter, the entire chapter. I'm just gonna play a little bit of a strip from it. The rest you can go into D2L and watch it completely. Yes, and today we have another project with Sonia. How you doing, Sonia?
Oh, pretty good. Hi, classmates.
So she is part of your class, and she's been all semester. And what we're doing today is addressing chapter 8. But however, let's learn a little bit of where about you, Sonia. So what do you work at, Sonia?
I work at Bella Renova on Market Street. I'm a nail technician and a hairstylist as well.
Oh, perfect,
So,
perfect.
as
So
you can see, a little bit of the spa.
wow.
It's pretty relaxing.
So it's pedicures and manicures.
Yes,
Awesome.
it's a spa. There's people that do massages, facials, hair. It's a little bit of everything.
So do you feel like you sometimes have to sell these products to these customers?
Yeah, we do. We
Okay.
have a lot of nail polishes, hair products, lotions, a little bit of everything that people always want to know about it.
Perfect. So I put a little bit of a map on where you're at, off 45. What's the exit over there?
I have
No
no clue.
clue. Well, just so then we went over through the entire lesson together. So please, again, class, go to that link and watch it. It's about 20 minutes long. And but this is what I like. I did some participative learning between Rebecca and Christine and practiced some of the objections together in a dialogue setup. So here's a few of them. Okay, Rebecca, do you have some time to meet soon?
No, actually, this week I have a very busy week. I don't think I can meet up with you.
I see. So if it's a busy week this week, how about we just maybe next week, the week after that, Monday? Is Monday a busy day for you usually?
Monday's busy, but maybe we can try Thursday.
Okay, Thursday. Thursday at 11, I want to pencil you in. Just pencil you. If it's something that is too much, just call me and we'll take it out. And that was time objection, practice time objection. Here's fourth song. Okay, so Christine, I know that you're looking to find a house in the Woodlands, right?
yes, I am.
I'll tell you, there's a beautiful house actually very close to where you want it.
Awesome.
However, it does need repairs.
Whoa. What?
Yes, yes. There's something wrong with the roof and the AC system, and it does need some repairs in the kitchen area, especially. However, the good news is that it's priced just right for us to get a general contractor and get all those new items new for you, and even make some money on top of that.
Oh, okay. Well, at first I was a little skeptical of like big repairs, but no, if we can get a contractor and fix that up with staying within like the price range, that'd be awesome. I'd
Well,
love to go look at that house.
and I'll tell you, I wanted to tell you before you see it, so that way you're prepared.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And that was Christine and forestalling, and a few more. Okay, Rebecca. So, I hear you have a new job. Would you be looking to buy a house soon?
Well, I don't think I need a new home right now.
Oh, really? Let's see. I know that your job's in Texas Medical Center, and the Heights is in such close proximity to your new job. You know how great it'll be to have a commute of about 10 minutes? Don't you think that would be nice?
I guess now that you say that, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, thank you. Thank you for considering it.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see right here. So, Christine, which college do you plan to go to?
Well, I've been wanting to stay kind of close to home, so I've been looking at U of H in Sam Houston.
Oh, how come not Lone Star?
I thought about it, but like I feel like the professors are just like really hard, if not like as hard as like the professors are at big universities like U of H or Sam Houston. So I'm not sure if I wanted to jump into that right away.
But actually, if you have to think about it in that sort of way, I think you're right. I think these professors do teach. A lot of them have, PhDs themselves and teach at these other big universities. But the good thing is that they're teaching you that way and getting you well prepared for when you have to move on to these 4-year institutions for half the price.
I hadn't thought about it that way actually. That might be a better option for me.
So it's funny. I mean, you were right about it. So I just
Yeah.
maybe had to see that good side of it, right?
See the different side. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
I think boomerang is my favorite objection tool. So as we go on, and I actually have Christine give me a post assessment on what she learned through our interaction together.
So, going through the three things that I went through, the lark, the boomerang, and the forestalling was really interesting to me, and it was really cool because I had been able to see times when like I myself had performed those um, attributes, or like kind of like defense, I guess, against a sales objection, or I had like seen them in customers that I've dealt with, or like being in ministry, I've seen them seen those things with parents that I deal with, like parents of students and stuff. And so the lark was really cool going through, and kind of I was able to see that, like I think especially through the example that we used of an Apple employee and like someone who's having problems with their phone or their computer. It's all about like, okay, let me take time to listen to you before I jump in and like try to solve the problem without even knowing what the problem is. I think is so important. And it was cool to see how like all three of them are so like customer focused. It's about making sure that they're happy and they're satisfied with the decision they're making, with the product that they're choosing or the service that they're choosing. And so that was really cool to see. And like the lark, I think is really important because it's like a taking time to listen, and then you assess what's going on, you acknowledge it, you respond, and you offer solutions. And then going through the forestalling was really cool because again it's so customer oriented. Of if you're upfront about what is wrong, customers are going to be more lenient when they find those problems, when they see those problems, and they're going to see that because you were upfront, you'll be more willing to fix it. And then going through the boomerang one, it's so funny of being in retail, you're like, oh, I don't want to buy that because it costs too much money. Well, and it's not always the case, but from my experience, there are a few things I'm willing to spend money on because I know it's going to last longer. And so it kind of came back to me of whether I spend $5 or whether I'm spending $50. If it falls apart in 5 minutes, then there's no point in buying it. And so
thank you, Christine. And that overall is the lesson For the class, in summary, I would like for you guys to write a 500-word response or a 5-minute video. Use the terms that we've learned in the lesson. Make sure you use them. We'll be quizzed on the terms and the actions of this video, so please pay attention. And for some bonus points, tell us your further experience on these objections. And I will definitely end by giving my opinion at the very end of all that. Thank you so much. And for those watching this video who are just visiting us in the lesson, we're hoping that this is a step for the future for business online education, because those two interact incredibly well. Thank you so much.